how important is it to understand that equally to the good things that scent brought to me, that's also equally powerful to things that are negative that happen in our life. It can equally bring it back in just technicolor, panoramic. It's as though it happened yesterday. And that's a part of what trauma is when you experience that moment of whether it's something you see, something you feel, something you taste, something you hear, it will whoosh it all back really, really quickly.
So all of the places you have a memory of the way that your skin felt, you have a memory of what you smelled, you have a memory of what you perceived to be happening. You have a memory associated with the level of stress and the stressors and your neurological responses to what was happening in your body. And then you also have the memory of what you believed about yourself by what was happening. So all of those things, memory is very powerful. And trauma and memory are so interconnected. It's like our memory is where trauma lives, and your experiences stay very alive until they have resolve to them. So it can be, and it's not like some distant memory. Like I have to think really hard to remember what I was wearing on the third day of second grade. It's not that removed. When you have trauma in a memory, you have trauma with all those memory cues. It's very loud. It's very alive. It's like having a video playing on the background of your phone at full volume and trying to kind of function through life in that way. And when you have multiple places of trauma, your internal sense of self can feel really loud. And if you grew up that way, you might not even realize that it shouldn't be like that. Like if it's always been loud, there's always been just the noise of the memories. It's the noise of carrying trauma and you don't know any different. Why would you know any different? Why would you know that it shouldn't be like that until the Lord starts to encounter you and bring peace to it? And how many people are like, I didn't know. I didn't know I didn't know I was lacking peace. I didn't know that there could be another level of peace here. I had no idea. And so it's really fascinating how the Lord created us. It's fascinating the way that our memory works. It's fascinating the way it's all interconnected. It's fascinating. And getting understanding about it helps to kind of light the path to the way out. And so I want to talk for a second about why childhood trauma matters so much, the impact of it. Because we talk a lot of people spend time talking about childhood trauma, and it's like I can shake off what happened to me yesterday, but I can't shake off what happened to me when I was 7. Like, I don't understand that. Right. So why is that? There's actually a reason to that. That is not about you not being strong enough or having enough faith. It's actually, there is a reason in that, the way that you were developed. There's a reason in the way that you were created. There's a reason in the way that our brains function. And that is that trauma experience during early childhood development matters because our brain was still forming. I mean, we didn't get the fullness of our prefrontal cortex until we were 25.
Right.
So until then, our brain is still forming. The impact of what we are experiencing is massive when you are growing up. So babies, for instance, from the time that they're born, and it starts to wane, but babies have tens of thousands of new neurons every single second. Tens of thousands. Wow. Tens of thousands every second. Jeff, how many neurons do you think that you get today in a day?
2.
Close. Close. You get 700.
Okay.
700 today. You get 700. So good job. You're learning.
I was actually closer than if I said tens of thousands. If we really want to get into the,
you were close.
Yeah. You off by 698.
Yep, not bad at all.
Yeah.
If you would have said 10,000 in a day, it would have been way off. So babies get tens of thousands every single second.
That's amazing. They're geniuses.
Hey,
This is why you get little child prodigies that can learn
Right.
7 languages and play 16 instruments. And I
Yeah.
still can't play piano because I started learning as an adult. It's
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
700 new neurons in a day versus
That's
tens
crazy.
of thousands in a second.
That's
So
sick.
your brain is developing that whole time that you're growing up. And that's why childhood impact
Yeah,
matters.
that's very important.
Yeah, talk about
So
that for a minute.
the worldview of a baby, why, you're like, why so many opportunities for learning? It's because their worldview is being formed. Imagine like they're a blank slate and nothing is written on them.
Mhm.
So as they develop, the moment they're out, everything they hear is the first time they're hearing it. Everything they smell is the first time they're smelling it. Everything they taste, it's the first time. And they're processing what they're sensing. And then eventually they'll have, they'll either determine I like what I taste, or I like what I hear, I like what I smell, or I don't. So it's the I like or I don't like that comes in that processing as they're being written on. So if you think about if a baby doesn't have in its early development good things that it's learning, if its worldview about life is being shaped around abuse or a lack of being loved well, not being nurtured, its basic needs aren't being attended to by a parent who is connected to them. They're more like a cast off or an annoyance, like, oh my gosh, I got to feed the baby again. That baby feels all of that. And so their worldview is being shaped on what they are going to feel like as an adult. So essentially you become the adult version of your childhood education. And you live out of that filter of how you learned about life as you were growing up as that little baby coming up into your adulthood. So much of your life is going to be filtered from that early childhood development. So if you're not learning the things according to the love of God and the fruit of his spirit, imagine how difficult it is to process life from that place.
Oh man.